Hello and welcome. My name is Tavishima Ayede. I solve sales and marketing challenges, and I'm making today's recording at home, so expect to hear some noise in the background. The goal of this podcast is for business education, so if you're impressed, please spread the word so that your friends and family members in Nigeria and abroad can benefit from the questions that we tackle. They can do that by subscribing on Spotify, YouTube, Apple, or any player of their choice. And if you'd love to connect, then you can call, SMS, or WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Today on the podcast, a very old question that seems to come back again and again and again in different guise. And today, it was a listener question from, what's his name again? Sorry, let me check my notes. Jerry. Yes, from Jerry in Apo. Apo is the, what will I say? How will I put it now? Apo is in Abuja anyway. I don't know how to explain it. I say like a local government. It's a part of Abuja, let me just put it that way, where the old legislative quarters used to be. So, Jerry from Apo runs a snack business, and he called in, not on the podcast, because of course you can't call in on the podcast, on my radio show. And he runs a snack business, and he was trying to see how he could drum some support for his business. Now, based on the yarns that Jerry and I had on the air, I got the feeling that what he was looking for was a benefactor for his business. A benefactor is someone who, out of goodwill, or who, out of kindness, or who, out of, I love Jesus Christ, or, I love humanity, or whatever, the person just decides, I like your hustle, let me just dash you money, no string attached. Now, some of you must be thinking, do people like that exist? And the answer is yes, there are benefactors. And if you think about it hard, you will see that either you or your parents or somebody you know has actually benefited from benefactors in the past. There are some of those people who have said, I like what you do, let me just bless you with this small money, or let me just support your hustle with this small, this thing or that thing. So benefactors do happen, and yes, there are people who are looking for benefactors in business. I'm not going to fault anybody who's looking for benefactors. So that's the impression that I got, that Shah is benefactors that he's looking for. And, we had the conversation. I mentioned the usual thing because, to be honest, because benefactors are rare, whenever anybody finds out that there is a benefactor in this community, excuse me, you find out that there are usually plenty people on their neck. Like, oh, this is a good guy. He likes to drop paper. People will start flooding him. This is a good woman. She likes to take care of people. People will start flooding her. So to be honest, even if there's a benefactor within arm's reach, before you reach that person, you go hard. Honestly. And even when you do, the person is probably overtaxed. So, benefactor for your business, it happens, but don't count on it. And yes, there are some things you can do from a sales and business development perspective, like using principles around stakeholder management to manage that kind of relationship. Because benefactors, I can assure you, benefactors in Nigeria are used to people coming looking for handouts. As per, just give me money to solve my problem. That's all. Now, because there's a huge handout culture in Nigeria, if you happen to meet a benefactor, you strike up something with a benefactor, they drop some money for you, and then you start doing good stakeholder management, it will leave an impression, I can assure you. You collect the money, you say thank you. Once in a while, you show up and greet, not because anything, just because I want greet, that's all. Then once in a while, you show up and then you give updates. Now, thank you very much. That 50K you gave me, I did like this, this is what I was able to do with the money, I was able to increase it, I was able to achieve this impact, I was able to achieve that impact. So from those kinds of moves, yes, you will be able to maintain a relationship with a benefactor to make sure that next time you want to go and beg, in quote, you'll be given a favorable ear. But then, of course, remember that I keep talking about over here on the podcast, it's not just about value that we extract, it's also about value that we can give. So we should be keeping our eye open that this person has been blessing me, with money every once in a while. What can I do to make this person's lives better? Small things. It helps. Very, very, very small things. I told you guys about how I got my first mobile phone. Mobile phones had just come out. Things were damn expensive. Yeah, my mom, she had one. She bought one for my brother because he was in Unilag back then, but I was in Ife. So, there was no service because it took a while before service rolled out. But eventually, service got to Ife. And the things were so expensive. I just told mom, she like, just flashy. No need. Like, I don't need a phone. I know some of you will be shocked, but it was early days. So, like, how was I supposed to know mobile phones are going to become, like, revolutionary? You know? So I told her, no need. I don't need a phone. No wala. But then Momsi had a bunch of people that she had been carrying along in her career. Because of the circumstances around my parents' breakup and things like that, Momsi has always kept a very sharp eye when she was young, around young women. Like, this young woman, be like, say, like she has something. So my Momsi was always mentoring, carrying around people from one place to another, like that, young women in particular. Especially people in the secretarial, like administrative staff, because you always find someone who is a secretary and you can tell that, no, this babe has something. She's sharp, she's intelligent. This person is executive material. So my mom had a thing for carrying these people along and grooming these sorts of people. So Momsy was a benefactor to someone's career. The other person was a beneficiary. And some of them will keep in touch with Momsy, So one of those ladies happened to get a job in a telecommunications firm, MTN, at an executive level. And that was a conversation. Like, ma, all the things you done for my career, I can't pay you back, blah, blah, blah. I know that Tabe doesn't have a phone. Just take this phone and give Tabe. And that was my first phone, Samsung, Blueface. And then when I held that thing in my hand, and I was standing outside my room in OAU, Obafemi Awolowo, then I was in block 7, room 202, second floor. I stood in front of my room. I was looking at this phone. Something just struck my heart. Bah! And a voice told me, Tabishima, this thing will make you millions. I was like, mobile phone. And then that's when my love with the mobile phone began. Anyway, so it was a benefactor, basically, that was just trying to say, thank you, ma. All you've done, I can't have money to give you back. So, your son doesn't have mobile phone. Just manage, ma. Take and give your son. So we should always be having these kind of relationships with our benefactors. Don't just go and be collecting. Try and look for ways that you can show value. For some of your benefactors, if you try and give them money, it will be an insult. Like, let's say I run into Dangote and Dangote is like, hey, you're a correct guy. I like your podcast. Let me bless you. Just take this 500M. I'll be very happy. But because Dangote is a big boy, there's no amount of money I can take and say I want to give Dangote. So even when I hammer and I'm a billionaire and I say, hey, Dangote, what's up now? You really blessed my life. Just take this 1 billion, it will be somehow. Dangote will say, look, young man, when I saw you that time and I gave you this 500M, it's not because I was looking for anything in return. It's because I could see that you're a sharp guy. And I say, let me bless you. So don't try and insult me by thinking I did this thing for money. Keep your money. I have my own. So if Dangote decides to bless me with 500M, truth of matter is, there's no amount of money I can give him back. So I need to look for ways to be adding value to him. Who knows? Maybe then he will have a young nephew or something, and I can say, oh, Uncle Dangote, I noticed that your nephew is doing like this. Yeah, no problem now. Let me take him under my wing. I can teach him 1 or 2 things, especially, regarding sales. Let me just internship the guy. Groom him in 1 or 2 things. Then by the time we chook him back in your organization, in Dangote Industries, he'll be a valuable asset. So maybe that's how, after Dangote dashes me 500M, I'll be able to, sow back into his career. But anyway, summary of what I'm saying is, benefactors, very hard to find. If you find one, don't be a professional beggar. Make sure that you're not only extracting value from the person, but that you're delivering value as well. And if you listen to the podcast, you'll be able to learn things about stakeholder management, delivering value, all these sorts of things that you can use to build relationships with your benefactor. So those are some of the gist. But then I now decided to expand the conversation that, for people who are looking for support for the business, it's not just benefactor. There are also investors who can support your business. You can also collect debt, that is DEBT, loans to grow your business. And you can also get support for your business, or you can also finance your business from your customers. Now, the key thing I wanted to stress over on the radio, I want to stress right now is When it comes to support for your business or growth of the business, benefactors is good, but hard to find. The other two, investors or debt, is okay, they're good. But the easiest or the safest way is actually to finance your business from your customers. Finance your business from your customers. Let me say it one more time. Finance your business from your customers. What that means is get more customers. Do a good job in retaining those customers. Increase your prices small over the long term. And then the cash flows that you get from that is what you throw back into your business. Because when you have an investor, they want a share in your business and they want to determine one or two things. And some of us, the reasons why we entered into business is because we don't want to answer yes, sir. You cannot take an investor in your business and say you will not answer yes, sir. You will have to answer yes, sir, or yes, ma. It's just part of the package. Even if it was not part of the agreement, after some time, the guy will tell you that, look, young man, I gave you 10M for this business. You're saying that I cannot tell you anything about how to run this business. Come on, be realistic. Even if it's not in the agreement, I can assure you that one day that's what the guy will say. Debt. If you take debt, you must pay back the loan, whether the business grows or it doesn't, whether you are fine or you're not. So these things come with obligations that financing from your customers does not. When you finance from your customers, they get their product or their service, so they have no other hold on you, no other obligation on you. The money that you get is free and clean and yours to use. I'm just hoping that you will use it. You will reinvest some of it into your business. Don't make the mistake that some of us made. There was one guy who used to tell me that, look, young man, do not eat your capital. I did not understand what he meant, but he kept saying, don't eat your capital, don't eat your capital. One day he put it like this because he was a much older gentleman. He said, back in the days when we were in the village, not me, I didn't grow up in the village. I'm a township boy. I was born in Makudi, then from there to Abuja, then from there to Lagos. And then the most rural place I ever lived was, I'll say Ife. Ife is a small town. But I'm a city boy through and through. So he said, back in the village, this is how it will happen. You will have like 100 heads of yam and you will sow all of them and they will reap yam. What will not happen is you will take yams and store in the barn. There are some that you will eat, you and the family. There are some you will take to the market and you will sell. There are some that you just decapitate the head and you keep, that you will use to farm for the next season. So that's what the guy was telling me. Don't eat your capital. If you harvest all the yam and eat everything now, next season there will be nothing to plant. But I didn't understand. And I went through a very long time of eating all my capital. If I do business, 400k enter, pure, I'll clean everything. If I do another one, 100k enter, pure, I'll clean everything. The one that I did, me and my brother, 800k entered. Oh boy, we just clear everything. We're eating our capital. So please, do not be eating your capital. Some you will eat, some you will apportion, some other you will invest back into the business so that in another season, there will still be something that you can eat. All right, now where are we? Because I lost my train of thought. I can't even remember how we got here. Okay, so for Jerry now, benefactors, Abi. So I've already defined what the benefactor is. Out of the goodness of the person's heart, out of the kindness, the person wants to be a nice guy or the babe wants to be a nice babe, they just dash you money. Now, one reason why I think benefactors is not a good idea is because if you're suffering from some business problems, then having a benefactor is just delaying the problem. And these are some problems that I wanted people to be really mindful of. Number one is poor unit economics, and then number two is not enough customers. I repeat, problems that you cannot solve by having benefactors. Number one is poor unit economics, and then number two is not enough customers. This is what poor unit economic means. Unit economic just means when you have a product or your service, a certain amount of time, money, effort goes into creating that product or goes into creating that service. When you sell that thing to the public, you want to make sure that you add enough money on top so that you're able to recoup the time and the money that went into making this thing, and then there's enough extra that you can use to flex and buy shawarma and then also to reinvest in the business. I repeat, if you create, let's say you import headphones, yes, gamer headphones now, and you import one gamer headphone at 200k, If you sell the gamer headphone at 250k, is that 50k enough for you to put something in your pocket? Enough for you to reinvest back into the business, and then enough for you to settle, NEPA, what else? Because you have a physical shop, so you have NEPA, what else? You have to buy data, then you also need to pay your salespeople in the shop. That 50k you're putting on top, is it enough? So unit economics just means that you want to make sure that everything is adequately priced so that by the time you collect all that money on top, there's enough for you, there's enough for running expenses, there's enough to reinvest back into the business, and there's also enough to flex. So that's what unit economic means. So if you're importing gamer headphones from America to sell in Nigeria, you need to look at the situation very well. You imported it at 200k per one. Should you be selling it at 250? Does that make sense? Or should it be 300k or 350k or maybe even 400k? Some of you will say, no, I don't want to be a thief. It's not about being a thief. Facts is facts. We have hyperinflation in Nigeria. You pay for shop, you pay for salary. Local government people will come and harass you. You will pay all kinds of things. There's money that's involved in running this business. It's a matter of just sitting down and looking at how much is it costing me to run this business. I imported 100 headphones. How much do I need to put on top to keep this thing going? It is that simple. It's not a matter of being a thief. Because some people will hear that you imported the car for 5 million, but as you're selling it for 15 million, then they'll say you're a thief, that you're gouging profits. Look, guy, this is not a matter of gouging profits. The numbers either work or they don't. So, poor economics now is that there are some people who are not putting enough money on top of the product that they're selling. And so because of that, they are losing money every single day. They just don't know. If a benefactor comes and gives you 5M, you will think you are making progress, but actually you are not. You are losing money because the unit economics is bad. Your business is dying slowly. It's just that somebody has used 5M to cover your eyes, so you can't see that your business is dying slowly. So there's some things you need to fix first before we start looking for benefactors. Then the problem of not enough customers. If we don't have enough customers, then we're losing lots of traction on a daily, on a weekly basis. Steady. Your business is dying, but you don't know. If a benefactor comes and dashes you 10M, your business is still dying. You just don't know because somebody has used 10M to cover your eye. But your business is dying slowly. The way I explained it is, you are taking 5 steps forward, but 12 steps backward. Okay, no, maybe that's too much. You're taking 5 steps forward, but 8 steps backwards. Either way, the progress you're making is not like that. The business will still die. So before you look for a benefactor, before you look for investors, before you look for debt, make sure that your unit economics is on point. You're selling things at the price that are actually good enough to be able to keep the business going. And make sure that you're getting enough customers. It's not just enough that the price is right, but you also need to be selling in the right quantity to keep this thing moving. So if the right price to sell the headphone, you imported it at 200k, and the right price to sell it is at 550k for one, but then you're only selling one a month, is that enough to keep this business moving? Or are you supposed to be selling, 3 a week? But that's up to you to decide. And for some of you that will say, how can gaming headphone with 500k? I am not making this stuff up. This thing exists. I'm telling you. There's one time Momsi came. Whenever Momsi comes to Abuja, because she's a retail therapy kind of woman, she likes to go to shops, she likes to look and look and look. Before you know it, she'll buy this, she'll buy this, she'll buy that. And I'll say, Mom, you remember you're a retiree. It's not like before. You're not earning salary again. She will laugh. I say, how funny. How things change. Anyway, so we entered one shop now because Momsi wanted to buy a printer because she still does some administrative work for some charities now. So she was looking for a printer to buy. And I said, I need new headphones. So, and I had small cash on me. I was thinking, okay, if I see one headphone that I like and, the money is not, I'll now just, you understand now? So I'll collect something from her and then add on top. So I entered into the headphone section now for gaming headphones. I saw one beautiful headphone. This headphone was looking sweet. I picked it. And I said to myself, Self, you have found brand new headphones. And as I was walking to the till now, because me, I was thinking, like 50K or something. By the time I turned the bottom, I say, I saw 350K. 350,000 naira for gaming headphones. And this was before the price of fuel increase and everything and all whatnot. So I am sure if I go to that shop right now, that headphone, I won't be surprised if the headphone is now 500K. These things happen. So yeah, there's some stuff I make up, but some of these things, believe I'm not making this up. So sorry, what's the time, so? Okay, it's almost 12. Okay, I have a meeting soon. Let me not get carried away. Let's refocus. Okay, so other ways of getting support for your business. So, investors. Now, investor is just somebody who gives you money now. Typically, what that person wants is a share in the business, the share in ownership, the share in your profits. And so you have to ask yourself, are you willing to do that? And then the investor is also going to need answers to some questions. Number one, the investor wants to know, how much money do you need? Excuse me. Number two, what do you need that money for? Number three, how is this business going to make money? Number four, what is this business about, Self? Number five, who are you? What's your background? Excuse me. What's your background? What are your skills? What do you bring to the table? As people say nowadays, what do you bring to the table so that you can make this thing work? Now, all these questions are answered in a document that is called the business plan. When you hear business plan, it sounds fancy, plenty of big grammar. Well, basically, the document that answers that question, that is what the business plan is. You will have to come up with a business plan for an investor, and you will have to come up with a business plan for debt if you're going to raise loan from a bank or any other financial institution. So you can borrow from private individuals, you can borrow from formal institutions. But however, and I mentioned this on the show, and I'm mentioning this here now, if you're going to borrow money from friends, from family members, from associates, if you're going to borrow from Momsi or Popsy, you need to be very clear on a couple of things. What are the terms? Popsy, thank you very much for this money. I appreciate that you want to support me as per I'm your first son. Popsy, I really appreciate, I'm glad. I really, really appreciate. But, I don't want to take you for granted, so no vex. But I'm just asking, this money that you're supporting me with, is it dash or is it something you need back, maybe like next year or like 2 years' time? Then you hear what Popsy has to say. Popsy says, no, my son, I'm dashing you. Oh, good. Then you're free. When the Popsy says, my son, ordinarily I would like to dash you, but you know how things are. I've been retired for like 20 years. So this money that I'm giving you, please manage it well. I'll need it back in like 2 years' time. Your younger sister is going to get married then. My hope is that we should be able to add this money to support your sister as she's getting married. Now, at least you know very clearly that he's supporting you with this money. He has faith in you that you will do well. But that this money is needed in 2 years' time when your younger sister is getting married. The reason why I'm saying we ask all these things is because people don't ask and because they don't clarify what the terms are. It causes all kinds of family quarrel. You will take the money assuming it is a dash. Popsy will give you this money assuming it is support. In 2 years' time, your sister will now not be able to get the kind of wedding she likes. She will now be angry with Popsy that Popsy has always been supporting you and not supporting her. And she will now be angry with you that you have mismanaged her inheritance or see, the kind of complications these things can cause, serious. If you think I'm making this stuff up, just pay attention to your own family. Because I know it's not just in my own family that these things happen. It's a serious Niger problem. We don't ask questions. We don't try and clarify. There's a way that we can clarify respectfully. I know what it is, because this thing can cause some serious quarrels. Friendships end over these sorts of things. Marriage ends over these sorts of things. The wife gives the money to the husband. The husband says, he's thinking in his mind, she's my wife, she is bound to support me. I'm not bound to pay this money back. Ask. My dear, thank you very much for this money that you're giving. I really appreciate that you've always supported me as a dutiful wife that you are, the long-suffering wife. I truly appreciate you and I really, really love you. Thank you very much. But my dear, don't be annoyed. The money that you're giving me, I just wanted to know, is this something that you're dashing? Or are you trying to become an investor, a part owner in the business? Or did you take this money from our personal savings, and is it money that we need back? And when do we need back? Oh, okay, we took it from personal savings. Okay, so we need this by the time school fees is coming up in 8 months' time. You see, you ask these questions, but you don't ask, you assume. It's my wife. It's her duty to support me. She had this money somewhere. She's duty bound to bring it out. Then next thing, you are now quarreling when school fees comes around. So ask. Anyway, let me stop this whole Nollywood stuff and move on. So ask these questions. If it's going to be a formal loan, the bank or the microfinance bank or whoever will also need to know some questions that they want answered. The bank will need to know how much money, for what, how does your business make money, what business are you involved in, who are you, what team do you have, what is the background of your team, what is your sales and marketing plan, how do you expect to sell this product, when are you going to invest this thing, what are the horizons for return, like when do we expect to start seeing money back. You have to answer all these questions in the business plan. Now, the reason why I say customers are the best support for your business is because there is no loan, there is no interest. The ownership of the business is still your own. You don't have to go through the cumbersome process of writing a business plan. However, I still advise people to write a business plan anyway, because the process of writing a business plan forces you to think about some things and forces you to put some critical assumptions on paper. And then also, sales and marketing plan, they usually have one small chapter inside that is devoted to sales and marketing. That is the best part, in my own opinion, for a business plan, because there you have to say, this is the product we're making. These are the people who are the ideal audience. This is where we find them. This is how we're going to meet them. These are the methods that we're going to use to try and sell to them. These are the channel partners that we're going to partner with, to do the selling. These are the marketing, whatever we're going to do. We're going to run Instagram advertising like this. You have to spell all that thing out. Now, the reason why that's the best part of the marketing plan is this, of the business plan is this. When you wake up in those days and your morale is low, very, very low, and you don't know the way forward and you're confused, at least you can look at the business plan and you can remember that, okay, 2 years ago, this is what we thought, this is the direction we were heading, and this is how we thought we were going to solve our sales and marketing problems. And you can now take dressing from there. Now, okay, we thought we would do it like this, but this has changed. So because of that, we need to do it like that. So the business plan actually is an important document. So the long and short, what's the long and short of what I'm saying today, Self? To be honest, I'm not even sure what the long and short of today's episode is. But bottom line is, you can get support for your business any which way. Don't count on benefactors because they're hard to find. If you find a benefactor, make sure you do good stakeholder relations and also deliver value to the person. Investors or the debt option will make you to have a business plan, and remember that it has obligations that run with it. The only one that doesn't have any kind of extra obligations is your customers, which is why I really think if you're in Jerry's situation in Apple, your solution is not to look for a benefactor. Your solution actually is to look for more customers. That's the easiest thing. Look for more customers. You're in the snack business. Look for more customers. Don't look for benefactors. But if you happen to see a benefactor, please, by all means, key in and accept the help, accept the money. Any help you get, it's all good. So that's it, and that's all for today. Remember, if you'd love to connect, you can do so by calling, sending an SMS, or to WhatsApp me on 080-6466-2140. Thank you for your time and attention. I'll catch you next time. Same place, in your headphones or in your speakers.